A federal jury has ordered Google to pay a $425 million fine for improperly snooping on people's phones. So the class action lawsuit claimed Google tracked users' online activity even when people took advantage of privacy controls. So this case now covers 98 million devices used in the U.S. between 2016 and 2024. And a spokesperson for Google says the verdict misunderstands how Google's products work, and the company will appeal. So let's bring in Chief Legal Analyst Clive Rhodes to talk about this. First, can we break down exactly what Google was actually doing that violated California's privacy laws, and what kind of user data was being tracked without consent?
All data was being tracked.
All data.
That's what they were doing. And the problem is, yes, the developer, the person that spoke for Google says that they don't understand, or the court doesn't understand. And I think to some extent that is an argument that I have made a number of times, that to people that are rendering judgment in these type of cases, don't utilize the technology, don't use the technology, and don't understand it. And so you get all these experts in there to try to explain it to them like they're a 2-year-old, and it's sometimes over their head. In this case, there was a multi-week jury trial. So explaining this to individuals that some folks on the jury use it, some folks don't, it's going to be hard for them to understand it. But even if they use it, you don't understand how it works. So what they were doing is, if you have the ability to turn off their tracking of your information, individuals that were using it believed that that was shutting it completely down. But it wasn't. They still were tracking it through third-party apps. And so they're saying, well, why do you give me the ability to turn this off if, in essence, I'm not turning it off? Yes, you individually won't be tracking it, but then if you can circumvent my decision to turn it off by tracking it through another user's through a third-party app, then hasn't that defeated the purpose of me turning it off? Google is saying, and I do understand what they're saying, that if you have your phone and you turn off the individual tracking or any type of, capturing any information, we won't capture that. But if you haven't turned it off on something else, say Uber Eats or some other program, they're capturing it. Well, Google will then be able to take it from that third-party app. That's exactly what's happening. Google's saying it's not us, it's them. The court is saying, no, it's you. You guys have built these things into your program. You should have ways to do it. And this isn't the first time Google's been in this situation. They had a lawsuit last year, a multi-billion-dollar suit. They settled out of court alleging this same exact thing. And Google is what now? Said, we'll delete the information that we acquired. 90+ million users in that case.
Well, so what real protections or reforms can prevent this from happening again?
I mean, cases like this, you get hit with a couple $billion fines. You get hit with multiple lawsuits that are in the hundreds of millions. I mean, yes, they're a multi-billion-dollar company, so it's not this, it's not apples to apples.
Right.
But nobody wants to keep seeing these type of lawsuits on their books. And even if you appeal, it costs money to do that. I mean, and so if you get a favorable decision down the road, it's still a cost. And so it's cheaper to fix the scenario in the beginning. So if you have your risk management department, they're saying, is it cost prohibitive for us to continue to have these type of policies in place? But on the other side, if you're acquiring that data, I've said it before, data is the new oil, data is the new gold. If they have your name, your information, and they can sell it to someone else, maybe a selling of that offsets the cost of litigation. And so they're like, we'll keep continuing to do it. If I've sold your data for $1 billion, but I got hit with $400 million lawsuit, I'm still in the green. I'm still in the green.
Right. All right, talk about cost. Everybody pays attention when we talk about money, right? So with this $425 million settlement, how will that actually impact the 98 million users affected by this?
Well, this is that Reaganomics, a trickle-down effect. That's the best way I can describe it. I mean, it totals to whopping, not 4 million, not 400, not 4,000, but $4 per user. I mean,
that's 2 lottery tickets.
Everybody knows that who wins, and I hate saying this as an attorney, but it's the law firms that win in this scenario. They're going to get at the very minimum a third. So you're talking about a third of $400 million. Now that's if this stays. Cases like this, oftentimes, once they go from this court and they go to an appeal court may uphold the judgment but lower the amount.
Right.
So I wouldn't start cashing the checks yet if I'm Morgan & Morgan, who represented these folks here. But what I would say is, they're the ones that won't be getting $4, but we'll be getting somewhere in the hundreds of millions.
Yeah, absolutely. Clive Rhodes, appreciate your insight. Thanks so much.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.